On the night of June 13, 2025, the skies over Israel erupted in a terrifying display of fire and light. Air raid sirens wailed across major cities, from the bustling streets of Tel Aviv to the ancient heart of Jerusalem, sending citizens scrambling for shelter. This was not a drill. Iran, in a long-threatened act of retaliation, had unleashed a massive barrage of ballistic missiles and drones, a wave of destructive power aimed directly at the heart of the nation. The attack, which the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps called True Promise 3, was a direct and forceful response to preceding Israeli military actions that had struck deep within Iranian territory, creating a dangerous new chapter in the long-simmering conflict between the two regional powers. The scale of the Iranian assault was, honestly, unprecedented, designed to overwhelm Israel's sophisticated air defense network. Hundreds of projectiles streaked through the night sky, their fiery trails painting a grim picture of modern warfare. The primary targets, according to Iranian state media, were strategic military installations and critical air bases across the country. For the people on the ground, though, the distinction was academic. Every incoming light in the sky represented a potential catastrophe. The world watched, holding its breath, as the initial reports of explosions and relentless sirens confirmed that a major military confrontation was unfolding in real time, threatening to plunge the Middle East into a wider, more devastating war. This aggressive move by Tehran was not made in a vacuum. It was the culmination of a rapid and violent escalation. Just days earlier, Israel had carried out Operation Rising Lion, its most audacious strike ever against Iran. The operation targeted not only key nuclear facilities, such as the heavily fortified underground site at Natanz, but also the very top of Iran's military and scientific leadership. The strikes resulted in the deaths of at least 20 senior commanders, including the Armed Forces Chief of Staff, and 6 prominent nuclear scientists. The Iranian government, reeling from the blow, vowed that such an act would not go unanswered, setting the stage for the inevitable counterattack that now lit up the Israeli night. The international community had been bracing for this moment. Intelligence from the United States and European allies in the days leading up to the attack indicated that an Israeli strike was imminent, and a powerful Iranian response was all but certain. In anticipation, the United States had taken precautionary measures, withdrawing some diplomatic personnel from neighboring Iraq and authorizing the voluntary departure of military families from the region. Despite these warnings, the reality of the missile barrage was a stark and frightening confirmation of a diplomatic failure. The world was now witnessing the violent consequences of a conflict that had moved from the shadows into the open, with civilian populations caught squarely in the middle of the escalating hostilities. As Iran's missiles and drones swarmed toward their targets, a formidable defensive shield rose to meet them. This was a joint effort really, a symphony of advanced technology and military cooperation between Israel and its most powerful ally, the United States. Israeli air defense systems, most famously the Iron Dome, were activated across the country, their interceptor missiles launching into the sky to meet the incoming threats head-on. These systems are designed to calculate the trajectory of incoming rockets and prioritize those heading toward populated areas, creating a protective bubble over Israeli cities. The night was filled with the thunderous booms of successful interceptions, each one a potential tragedy averted by a marvel of modern engineering. The United States military played a crucial and active role in this widespread defensive operation. American naval assets positioned in the region, along with advanced fighter jets, were seamlessly integrated into the defense network. U.S. forces helped track, target, and destroy a significant number of the Iranian projectiles before they could even reach Israeli airspace. This assistance was not just symbolic, it was a practical and life-saving contribution that bolstered Israel's own capabilities. A U.S. official confirmed this direct involvement, underscoring a long-standing policy of American support for Israeli security, especially during moments of existential threat. This partnership turned the sky into a complex, high-stakes battlefield where defensive technology fought to neutralize offensive firepower. The Iron Dome system, along with other layers of Israeli missile defense like David's Sling and the Arrow system, formed the backbone of the response. The Iron Dome is specifically engineered to counter shorter-range rockets and artillery shells. Its radar detects an incoming projectile, and its command and control center rapidly calculates the threat's flight path. If the rocket is determined to be a danger to a designated protected zone, an interceptor missile is fired to destroy it in the air, creating the explosions seen across the sky. This system, developed with significant US funding and technological input, showcased its remarkable effectiveness, neutralizing the vast majority of the rockets it engaged. Despite the sheer volume of the Iranian attack, the combined US-Israeli defense managed to achieve a remarkably high interception rate. An Israeli official, speaking on the condition of anonymity, noted that the performance was consistent with expectations, stating that even if a small percentage of rockets penetrate the shield, it is considered a functional success for the system. This defensive victory was a testament to years of shared intelligence, joint military drills, and technological collaboration. It demonstrated that in an era of increasingly sophisticated missile threats, a layered and cooperative defense strategy is not just an advantage but an absolute necessity for national survival, preventing a catastrophic attack from becoming a national disaster. While the combined defensive effort was overwhelmingly successful, it was not perfect. The sheer number of missiles launched by Iran meant that some inevitably broke through the aerial shield, bringing the terror of the attack from the sky down to the streets. In the densely populated metropolitan area of Tel Aviv and the neighboring city of Ramat Gan, the explosions were not just distant booms in the sky but ground-shaking impacts that left behind physical and psychological scars. The rockets that got through caused tangible damage, turning scenes of everyday life into zones of chaos and destruction in a matter of seconds, reminding everyone of their vulnerability. Emergency services scrambled to respond to the impacts. Reports quickly surfaced of 7 people in the Tel Aviv district who sustained light to moderate injuries. These injuries were caused by a combination of shrapnel from the exploding warheads and the debris from buildings that were hit. Paramedics treated people at the scene before rushing them to nearby hospitals. Smoke was seen rising over parts of Tel Aviv as fires broke out where missiles had struck. The damage was not confined to one area. Rocket debris and munitions were found scattered across Israel's northern district as well, causing significant property damage, but fortunately no additional reported injuries in that region. The random nature of the impacts highlighted the indiscriminate danger posed by such attacks. One particularly tragic incident occurred in the West Bank city of Hebron, where a missile fired by Houthi militia in Yemen, in a coordinated strike with Iran, landed in a residential area. This missile wounded 3 Palestinian children, a heartbreaking example of how such conflicts invariably harm the innocent, regardless of their nationality or location. The incident served as a grim reminder that the consequences of this regional war extend far beyond the primary combatants, affecting civilian populations throughout the area who have no stake in the fight. In the aftermath, residents of the affected areas began to survey the damage. Photos emerged showing shattered windows, cratered streets, and buildings pockmarked by shrapnel. While the number of casualties was remarkably low given the scale of the attack, a direct result of the effective air defenses, the impact was still deeply felt. Each damaged home represented a family's sanctuary violated, and each injury was a personal trauma. The attack, though largely thwarted, succeeded in sowing fear and disruption, demonstrating that even a technologically advanced nation with powerful allies remains susceptible to the brutal realities of modern warfare. The roots of the June 13th attack run deep, anchored in a dramatic and aggressive Israeli operation that preceded it. Iran's missile barrage was framed by its leadership as a necessary and just retaliation for Israel's Operation Rising Lion. That Israeli strike was a devastating blow, targeting the core of Iran's nuclear and military establishments. The operation not only inflicted significant damage on critical infrastructure, including nuclear sites at Natanz and Isfahan, but it also decapitated a portion of Iran's military leadership. The loss of nearly 24 senior commanders and top nuclear scientists was a profound humiliation and a strategic setback for Tehran, making a forceful response almost inevitable to save face and deter future attacks. The political climate leading up to the confrontation was fraught with tension and failed diplomacy. President Trump's administration, which had been aware of Israel's attack plans, found itself in a difficult position. Having recently expressed waning confidence in a diplomatic solution to Iran's nuclear ambitions after the Supreme Leader rejected a U.S. proposal, the administration was now urging de-escalation. While U.S. forces were actively defending Israel, President Trump simultaneously urged Iran to halt its bombing, even suggesting a nuclear deal was still a possibility. This dual approach highlighted the complex tightrope Washington was walking, supporting its ally while desperately trying to prevent a full-blown regional war that could have catastrophic global consequences. The events of June 13th underscore a vital lesson about international relations in a volatile world, the profound importance of strong alliances. The successful defense of Israel was not achieved by one nation alone. It was the product of a deep and enduring partnership between the United States and Israel, built on decades of shared intelligence, joint technological development, and mutual security commitments. When hundreds of missiles were in the air, it was this seamless cooperation between US and Israeli forces that formed an effective shield, saving countless lives and preventing far greater destruction. This collaboration proved to be the most critical asset in a moment of extreme peril. Ultimately, the crisis serves as a powerful reminder that in times of danger, collective security is paramount. The coordinated defense demonstrated that when allied nations work together, they can stand against aggression and protect their people from harm. The successful interception of the vast majority of Iran's missiles prevented a regional crisis from becoming a global catastrophe, which would have had devastating impacts on everything from oil prices to international stability. In an unpredictable and often dangerous world, the bonds of partnership and the commitment to mutual defense are not just political ideals, they are the essential pillars that uphold peace and provide protection when it is needed most.